Welcome back to Fab Automotive Detailing. You guys, do you have a Boss foam cannon and it just stopped foaming all of a sudden one day and you're extremely frustrated and you don't know what to do, or maybe you do know what to do, but you're not sure how to do it? I'm gonna show you guys how to rebuild your Boss foam cannon in this video. Let's do it. So if you're like me, you absolutely love your Boss foam cannon from Griots Garage. You use it all the time. And then one day you get out to use it and all it does is just shoot out kind of like water and a little bit of soap, but it's not foaming at all. And you're kind of frustrated. So you get on YouTube and you look at videos of why my Boss foam cannon or why my foam cannon no longer foams. And you realize that they do need rebuild every now and then. This happened to me a couple years ago. And what I did is I bought several of their kits at the time. Their kits have changed and I'll explain that here in a minute. But I bought several of the kits at the time so I can rebuild it. I just got done rebuilding this one and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. I wish I would have thought about it while I was doing it. I just didn't. I just came out here and did it. And I was like, you know what, I should make a video, because there's going to be a lot of people like me that kind of want to know how to do this. Or maybe you're not real mechanically inclined. So you kind of need a little bit of guidance. I understand that completely. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it in this video. I'm going to show you guys what you're going to need. But the most important thing you're going to need is you're going to need a Boss foam cannon rebuild kit. This is BF Kit, BFKIT, on their website. Now I did get on their website. I looked at it. These are now $15, $14.99, but it comes with a new tube. It comes with a new tube right here. It also comes with 2 of the mesh inserts right here and some grease. This is the older one. I bought this kit probably, because I bought like 3 or 4 when I did it. I probably bought this kit 4 or 5 years ago. Probably right around there. So I've had these a long time. So this is the older kit. They have upgraded, which is great. You get even more things with it. Because I think these were like maybe $10 or $11 back then, but they're 15, but you get more things. So that's cool. So let me go ahead and show you guys what we're going to need to do this job and exactly how easy it is to do. So in order to do this job, you're obviously going to need your rebuild kit. And I do want to show you guys this up close one more time. You have a small O-ring, large O-ring, your dowel pin, or you're going to like a push pin that goes through the plastic piece up here to hold it on, and then your mesh screen. The mesh screen is actually what gets clogged or rusted up and causes it to not foam anymore. The most important thing when you use a foam cannon is when you get done with it, fill it with fresh water and run that thing until there's no more soap coming out of the nozzle. And that's a good way to keep it going. But that's your mesh screen that you're going to need. That's what causes it to foam. The tools you're going to need, you do not need all of these, but I'm going to show you you're going to need a punch. This right here is just a T-handled Torx, but it's skinny, and this is what I use to push the screen out. You don't have to use a Phillips head screwdriver, but I'm going to show you why I like to use the Phillips head screwdriver. You can get away with not doing it. A 22mm wrench and a 24mm wrench, or a 22mm wrench and an adjustable, or 2 adjustables, whatever variation that you have. You can do it with just 2 adjustables also. And then you're going to need the grease, but if you have the new kit though, you're not going to need the grease. It comes with the grease. That you need to grease the O-rings, because if you do not, when you push this collar back on, you can actually rip your O-ring, and then you're going to have a leak when you're using your foam cannon. So let's get down to it. All right, so we are not going to use this kit because I just rebuilt this, so I'm not going to open that kit. But I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do this. It's really, really simple. I like to leave my foam cannon, or like to do the top on the base. It just makes it a little bit easier for me to kind of hold it when I'm doing it. Right here is the first thing we got to get out, this pin. You can see right there. And that's what you have the little punch for. You don't need a hammer or anything like that. You just push it out. It only goes one way. I always do it the wrong way the first time. Push it out, okay? So there it is, sticking out. And just pull that out, set that aside. You're not going to need it. The new one comes with it. And then this cone will just come right off. Set your cone right next to it. You will see that the pin starts to rust a little bit. As you can see, that's probably why they give you a new pin. Now this is where I say you can get away with not removing this, but I like to remove the nozzle because it allows me to get my wrench in here. Otherwise, you're kind of going in at an angle to try to get on there, but I have done it without removing it, but it's just a lot easier to remove it. Take your Phillips head screwdriver, just unscrew it, and there is like a collar underneath here, so be wary of that so you don't drop on the floor and it rolls somewhere and it goes bye-bye. So there's the collar right there. Do not lose that collar. That has to be on there. Okay, so now we're down to the nitty-gritty. When I first did this the very first time, I wasn't sure what I was doing, and I just took this apart. You don't need to do that. There's zero reason to do that at all. At this point, you can remove this O-ring. We're not going to do that. Like I said, I just did this. You can remove this O-ring, and then your next O-ring is going to actually be inside of here. Now this is where you need your 2 wrenches. So I'm gonna use my 24, and it's just gonna go right on there like that. And then you need a 22, John Deere wrenches, by the way. My wife works at John Deere. These are good wrenches. Okay, and it's not tight, like that. You can take this wrench back off. And if you didn't have this O-ring on, it'd make it a lot easier to put the wrench on. If you take the O-ring off. And then we're just gonna unscrew this. There is your second O-ring, your smaller O-ring right there. Now, the reason we want to do that is right inside here is your mesh screen. I'm going to go ahead and push it out. I hope I don't damage it. If I do, I guess I do have a rebuild kit. But I use this tool because it fits in there. You gotta kind of push it. I'm going to damage it. I'll have to put the new one in, most likely. No, it didn't do too bad. There it is. As you can see, brand new. I do not need to rebuild it. But let's say you took yours out and now you're ready to put the new one in. So all we're going to do, we're just going to stick this down in there like that. And you can usually just push it all the way down with your finger. There's no reason to use a tool to damage it because you don't want to damage it. Okay, I think, yeah, we are all the way down in there now. Hopefully you guys can see. Just push it down right all the way down, and you can kind of see where it sits in there. So you have your new O-ring on. At this point, you're going to take a little bit of grease. You don't need a lot. You're just going to grease right around that O-ring. You just don't want it to go on dry, because if you split that, obviously this thing's under pressure, you're going to have a leak, and you're going to be like, what in the world's going on? That's why. And then, actually don't want to grease that one yet. Normally this O-ring wouldn't be on here. We're going to go ahead and put our piece back on. And you don't need to go all He-Man on it, but the main thing is make sure that O-ring stays in place. And as you go around, you see it go around. You don't see the O-ring sticking out anywhere along the crack of that. Okay, that means we should be good and we should be seated. You're going to take your wrench, put it back on here. Like I said, you do not need to go crazy on this. And that's it. Now, one thing I have not figured out, if anybody has a hint on how to do this without making this not be straight anymore, because now it's not straight, if that makes sense. I would like for this to be straight up this way, so it's actually angled. I don't know how to do it so it doesn't do that. Maybe there's an adjustment. Maybe Griots Garage watch this video and they can tell me what I can do to straighten that up. But to me, not a big deal to me. But then ready to put our sleeve back on, and it is square, and it goes on here, so you can't put it on wrong. Okay, we're going to put our bolt, our screw, and our adjustment knob on. Once again, you do not need to go all crazy. Just hold on to it, twist it down. We're good. Knob works just fine. And last step, put some grease on this O-ring. Just like that. Wear gloves when you do that. Don't be like me. You can put this on either way you want. I like to put it on so the boss actually is readable, so you can actually read it. Now what it's going to do, that pin is actually going to go right here in this slot. So basically, it's kind of dummy proof. You really can't mess it up, but you should be able to see through it. You can see the light on the other side of that. You should be able to see through it. And you take your pin. It only goes one way. You turn it around the other side. There. Now the pin is in. It's flush on both sides. Our adjustment works. As you can see, the fan is opening and closing. The adjustment works, and we are back together, and we are ready to start foaming again. Well, as you guys saw right there, super simple to rebuild this foam can. One thing I probably should mention, the new one comes with the new hose. It's pretty simple. You just pull it off, take your counter with this, I guess you call this a counter, I'm not sure what you call this, but it's a weight, so the tube will go no matter what direction you hold the foam can, it goes to the liquid. Take this ball off, put it in the new tube, and you will be ready to go at that point. So yeah, really easy to do. It doesn't take a lot of skill at all, just a few tools needed to get you back to foaming the way that you were before. I absolutely love this foam can. I do use other foam cans, you guys can see behind me, and I have had to rebuild some of these. They basically all rebuild the exact same way. Some of them only have like one O-ring, some of them have two like this one, but pretty much the exact same thing. Take your cone off and then get your screen out, and you're ready to go. But this foam cannon here has served me well over the last, let's see, how long have I had it? I've lived in this house now for 5 years. So I've had this for about 6 or 7 years now. This thing has served me so well. It foams so great. Another reason that I love this foam cannon over the others is I can take this top off and I can screw their bottles straight onto here. And that is why I have a metering tip in here, so it only pulls out as much soap as needed instead of just pulling straight out of the bottle like crazy. Only pulls out as much soap as needed to give you great foam. Now, if you're using foam or soap in here diluted with water, then you take the metering tip out and you just put it straight down in there to get good foam that way. So yeah, hopefully this video is helpful for you guys if you're trying to figure out why your foam cannon won't foam, and what you can do to hopefully fix it so you don't have to buy a new one. Because when it happened to me, I thought, man, I don't have to buy another one. Until I got on YouTube and found out, oh, it's just a screen. I just need to replace the screen. So yeah, that's about it for rebuilding a foam cannon. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If this video was helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Hit that share button. I really appreciate it. It may be helpful for somebody else. While you're down there, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join the Fat Family. We'd love to have you. We'll see you in the next video.